GamingBolt presents 15 things you need to know before you buy Metal Gear Survive. A Metal Gear game that is centered around survival and zombies. Yes, it's weird. Metal Gear Survive has divided the series' fans to say the least. But looking beyond the fact that it doesn't have to be called Metal Gear on account of how unlike anything the series has ever done, this game is, and there actually seems to be some stuff here that might pique your interest. Here in this feature, we're going to take a look at 15 pieces of information to help you better understand just what exactly this game is about. The setup. The story of Metal Gear Survive picks up where Ground Zeroes ended. Skullface and XOF have destroyed Mother Base, and while Big Boss and Kazuhira Miller have somehow managed to make it out alive, the people left behind haven't exactly had similar luck. A wormhole opens up in the sky above Mother Base, pulling the base and all of the remaining soldiers into an alternate reality in a world full of hostile, zombie-like creatures. Spin-off. Metal Gear Survive is supposed to be a fictitious story, which means that it's not exactly part of the series canon. It is, in fact, quite similar in nature to Jamais Vu and Deja Vu missions in Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. So for the Metal Gear purists out there who are balking at the audacity of the game's bizarre setting, rest assured, as far as the canon timeline is concerned, none of this ever actually happened. Single player. While the focus of Metal Gear Survive is on multiplayer aspects, players will be able to play the entire game by themselves as a single-player adventure, if they so wish. Survive's single-player mode will see players being accompanied by 3 AI-controlled teammates, all of whom can be indirectly controlled via commands and orders. Of course, this isn't the ideal way to play the game, but it's good to know that it's still an option. Co-op. The aforementioned ideal way to play Metal Gear Survive will, of course, be cooperatively. You will be able to team up with 3 other players, and the 4 of you will, together, be able to do anything from exploring the game world to completing in-game missions. Konami has also confirmed that Survive will make use of its co-op setting to offer a fresh, new take on the kind of stealth Metal Gear is known for. Enemy types. Zombies are going to be the main enemy in Metal Gear Survive, so we're hoping that there will be variety in enemy design in the actual game. That certainly seems to be the case so far. In the gameplay videos that have been released for Survive, so far, there seem to be at least 2 different kinds of zombies. Other than the regular kind, we've spotted others with bloated heads that seem to be harder to kill. We're hoping these 2 won't be the only types in the game, but we're going to have to wait for the game's launch to officially find out. Base building. A major part of Metal Gear Survive's gameplay loop will be building, maintaining, and defending your very own base. Players will be expanding and strengthening their base with everything from resources to weapons. This feature will probably have a few things in common with developing Mother Base in the Phantom Pain, though it does look like it'll be much more in-depth and will be more integral to in-game progression. Survival elements. As you may have guessed from the game's name, Metal Gear Survive will also have quite a large focus on survival elements. Seeing as players will be fending for themselves in an alternate reality that is occupied by scores of dangerous zombie-like creatures, surviving will obviously be a major part of the game and how you play. Collecting resources, water, strengthening your base, growing livestock, and everything else that comes with surviving will be a major part of the gameplay loop. Collecting resources. Collecting and making use of resources is something that goes hand in hand with survival elements. In Metal Gear Survive, players will have to scour the game world for any and all resources they can come by, and will have to make use of them for all sorts of things, such as making new weapons and equipment, upgrading the stuff you already have, or building up your base camp. You will be able to collect almost anything you come across, even things like wood, empty bottles, and chairs, and we'll have to figure out how to make use of them appropriately. Oxygen level mechanic. Collecting resources and surviving outside of your base camp will be easier said than done. Zombies won't be the only threat in Metal Gear Survive, since the outside of your base camp will be surrounded by a poisonous cloud. As such, players will need to traverse the area wearing an oxygen mask, and will constantly have to keep an eye on oxygen levels, and will have to return to base camp if they run out of oxygen. Character customization. Character customization is also going to be an important mechanic in Survive. Players will be able to customize their characters in several ways, from your equipment to the kinds of weapons you use. As such, on the basis of what kinds of items and weapons your character will be equipped with, you will be able to decide your own style of playing. Conversely, you will also be able to build specific kinds of weapons and equipment to suit your preferred playstyle. New weapons. Considering how wildly different Metal Gear Survive is going to be from Ground Zeroes and The Phantom Pain, the two games it spins off from, it's kind of obvious that there's going to be entirely new kinds of weapons in the game for players to use. These will range from melee weapons such as sledgehammers, spears, and a large machete, to ranged weapons such as bows and arrows, crossbow, as well as a flamethrower. It remains to be seen whether these are the only new weapons in the game though. Fulton Cannon. Anyone who's played Metal Gear Online will be familiar with the Fulton Cannon, a trap-like weapon that Fultons any enemies that are unfortunate enough to walk in its area of effect and trigger it. It has been confirmed that the Fulton Cannon will also be included in Metal Gear Survive, and can be used for all sorts of things. Obvious uses such as Fultoning zombies, and other more creative uses such as using it on animals for bait. Walker Gears. The Fulton Cannon won't be the only fan-favorite weapon returning in Metal Gear Survive. Walker Gears are also making a return. Considering the fact that the game's primary focus seems to be on survival, it stands to reason that ammo and other important resources will be relatively scarce, so a weapon like Walker Gear could actually come in handy, not just for offensive purposes, but also for things such as speed and traversal. Day 1 DLC. Konami have also confirmed that when Metal Gear Survive releases, it will be launching with Day 1 DLC. We don't know much about the Survival Pack other than the fact that it will include in-game extras. This will include 4 gold-plated weapons, kabuki face paint, a mother base nameplate, the Boxman accessory, 4 metallic survival scarves, and 2 additional gestures. You will have access to this DLC if you pre-order the game. Xbox One X and PS4 Pro Enhanced. Most major games that are released these days, or even those that aren't that major, come with enhancements that take advantage of the added capabilities of the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. This will also be the case with Metal Gear Survive. What those enhancements will be is something that has not been revealed yet, but we're hoping that it'll actually be something substantial rather than just the customary upgrades to check boxes. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.